at 8:18, and this morning on Parenting Today, raising girls in the digital age. Research from the CDC shows girls blog, email, instant message, and text more than boys, and that can potentially lead to young women feeling even more peer pressure in cyberspace. We met up with 3 teenagers at Dylan's Candy Bar here in Manhattan to see what they love and loathe about technology.
Maybe I send about 100 texts a day.
I was just walking down the street yesterday and I was in like 4 different conversations texting people. I go and look and sometimes I have 300 messages and I'm just like, wow, like I really was talking to her through texting for that long. It's kind of addictive, you know? You go on Facebook and you stay on for a really long time and
I just stare at the screen because something's going to pop up and something's going to happen. Like 12 notifications, you feel great! You feel great about yourself!
Girls have like literally 200 likes on their profile pictures and like hundreds of comments. That's only if they're like wearing like a bikini. And I feel like people do it to see what everyone else's reaction will be.
If you're at a friend's house, somebody's always going to be like, can I check Facebook just quickly? I do that sometimes and I feel kind of bad about it. It's like this constant urge to be connected.
We got our Facebooks when we were like in 6th grade.
Yeah, like middle school is awful. Like people are so mean. My mom started off saying, oh, you should show us your Facebook every month, but then they kind of stopped after a while.
Formspring is really where you see a lot of bullying and stuff like that. The things you post are anonymous or can be unless you choose to say who you are.
Yeah, it's easier to write like negative and mean things and bully people when you're not to their face.
Yeah.
And you just type it in.
And Rachel Simmons is the author of Odd Girl Out, The Hidden Culture of Aggression in Girls, which has just been revised and updated after 10 years. Rachel, good morning.
Good morning.
Times have changed a lot in those 10 years, and we should mention the site that our girls talked about, Formspring. This is where comments can often be left anonymously by users, and we actually have a statement from the company, which I just want to put out there. At Formspring, we place priority on the safety of our users. We provide users with the ability to control many aspects of questions they receive, including whether they want to receive anonymous questions. Our member rules also prohibit users from abusing, harassing, intimidating, or threatening other users, and we take action against users who violate these terms, including terminating their account. But Rachel, is the problem really with just any online site if parents are not really monitoring their teens and their usage?
Well, there's no question that parents have to play a role, but with a site like Formspring, even if their intent was not to have cruelty, there's an epidemic of cruelty happening on that website, and the impact has to be taken responsibility for.
That's right. Well, although the website does say that they monitor the site, but I'm sure you can't monitor everything out there in the cyber world.
You can't,
right?
And millions of kids are cyberbullying each other on that site.
That's right. And we mentioned 10 years, things have really changed, and we're seeing cyberbullying at epic levels.
It's a huge change. The biggest change is you used to be able to go home from school at 3 o'clock, close the door, and you had refuge. Now that bullying is going to follow you everywhere you have a digital device. You cannot escape cyberbullying.
And talk about teens and their usage. I mean, when you talk about these girls are sleeping with cell phones at night, they're waiting to find out, you know, what's going on in the middle of the night.
They are, and we know that girls are online more, they're texting more, and it's because they're really addicted to their relationships, and technology gives them access to those relationships. But it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand it makes them feel really good because, oh, I have all these likes on my Facebook page. On the other hand, it makes them feel left out when I see photographs of a party that I wasn't invited to.
It's a double-edged sword then, that technology then. And when it comes to parental involvement, you say it's time for parents to get mean. What do you mean?
It is. We cannot let kids define the rules of tech use. Kids are using things earlier and earlier, and parents know that they feel in their gut that it's wrong. So I say, you know, it's time to be a little bit harder. It's time to set the rules for yourself. I always say to parents, remember that thing your parents said no to that you hated, and now
you're getting a cell phone until you're 15.
And now you thank them today.
Right.
This is that thing. Your child will thank you later for setting the rules now.
Okay, so some of those rules, and you say, is beginning with is your daughter's never too old to share her passwords. Does this mean you're going to be spying on them, though?
We're not talking about spying. That's a safety issue. If God forbid something happens to your child, you need to know what conversation she was having. But also, when your child leaves the house, you don't say, bye, see you later, come back whenever you want. You say, where are you going, who are you going with? Having her password is part of that conversation
online.
Set
limits on usage, obviously. And you say no texting at night or sleeping with the cell phone.
Yes, when girls are texting at night, they are not rational. They are much more likely to get involved in drama. They should also have a parking area in the house where you put your phone down. Girls are always complaining, my friends are texting when we're hanging out. You can solve that problem by parking the phone somewhere when your friends come over.
Rachel Simmons, great information. Thanks so much. Again, the book is called Odd Girl Out, and you can read an excerpt on our website. Very important.